Hello, welcome to Ascension here in Bali, Indonesia. Denpasar, not too far from the airport. And actually, pretty good holiday. We just spent 10 days here and then extended our stay, unplanned, which we'll talk about and we'll get into during this podcast. We haven't done a podcast in a while. So I'll just introduce my amazing partner, Aida, and then we'll get further into what this podcast is all going to be about. Welcome, Aida.
Thank you, darling. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome. Really excited to share what is unfolding for us and how that then can correlate into your life and how to use this expansion, expanded awareness to really navigate through life with ease and flow. So it's going to be a goodie.
Yeah. It's also good to. I mean, we normally do it in sunshine anyway because we live in the Gold Coast, the Sunshine Coast in Australia. So we're used to the sun. This is just a different humidity, different backdrop. That's pretty much it. Different time zone too, by a couple of hours. Anyway, let's get into it. So we'll talk about how to move beyond really big adversities, like when the dark night of the soul just turns up unexpectedly, and how to navigate it with ease, grace, flow, humility, humbleness. There's a bit of panic here and there too. Anything else that crops up, but so that you can at least handle the situation in what would be perceived a logical manner without any panic or even with only the tiniest bit of panic.
Yeah, thank you. It's very much in life, we're going to encounter challenges. And anyone who says they don't are actually sticking their head in the sand and they're bypassing. Like, as part of our human experience, we are going to encounter challenges. It's part of life. We view them as challenges, not struggles. Yeah. Part of our evolution, part of our growth, part of our expansion on this earthly realm is going to encounter blocks. That is why we're here, to have these human earthly experiences so we can continuously expand and grow. So what do you do when shit hits the fan, right, so to speak? And when it does, it's like you can either completely unravel, completely unfold, put your head under the blanket, head in the sand, or you can face it head on, lean into it, and really see what it's here to show you. And through that space, and then through the calmness, inviting in your conscious awareness, it really does then demonstrate there's always a lesson in that. What is it here to show you? What is it here to help you navigate? And what's the growth that then comes from this beautiful experience? It never looks good at the time, but then, busting through that next level, so to speak, or as a seed is about to come through or collapse in upon itself, it has to bust through the shell in order to see the light, to come through the soil in order to see the light. It looks like chaos, it looks like pain, it looks like discomfort, and yet what comes through from it, what unfolds from it, is truly very beautiful.
Absolutely. That breaking out of that shell, that's a good analogy there. So what was our situation? Well, visa issues, let's make it short and simple. So I'm not an Australian citizen, I'm just a permanent resident. And apparently in 2018, they changed the rules. The government changed the rules. In that, whether you're a permanent resident and you have free travel back and forth to Australia, unlimited, they then put a 5-year time limit on it, which meant that because I've travelled in over 5 years out of Australia, that my 5-year limit would immediately expired. Which, yes, I mean, there might be some people watching this has experienced that and realise how ridiculous it is. It's not like you even got like a one-time get out of jail free card, so to speak, where you could leave Australia and come back and they say, yeah, that's your one pass because you didn't know about the rule because you brought it in, didn't tell anybody. And then, so that's what we went away to Bali for 10 days. On the way out, we was told about this 5-year thing. They said, no, it'll be fine. You'll be able to get back in easily enough. You just got to apply for it.
Takes a couple of days.
Yeah, it takes a couple of days. You'll be good. But unfortunately, it took a lot more than 2 days, and we was only away for 10. So get to the airport, they wouldn't let us on the airplane back to Australia, and we just had to wait for the process to be completed. Now, prior to that, we was filling in the forms, we was having to wait for other people to get details, to get forms on everything I needed for the visa application. So, and that was the backdrop of a 10-day holiday in Bali that was for our birthday, for a romantic getaway, all those things. And it was there. That's the dark night of the soul that just came in and completely sideswiped us. And we're like, oh, what if I can't ever get back in? What if they don't give me the visa? All these questions come up. As no matter how powerful you are, you still have that human self that has these doubts. And it's how you handle those doubts. It's about not giving those doubts power to continue. So, and I'll be honest, at one point I did say to Aida, I said, look, I'm really worried about this. But then I didn't stay in that. And that's the challenge. This is what we encourage people. It's like everything has its time in the sun. Every emotion, which is energy in motion, as it's flowing, will come to the surface. And when it comes to the surface, that's when you approach it, that's when you face it, that's when you deal with it. But then you move on. So the next emotion was like, well, I'm on holiday in Bali. What we got? Where are we going today? What's today? Okay, we haven't got anything planned today. Pool, read a book, out on the balcony, whatever it was. That was the next emotion. But But if you stay in worry, you're then making that conscious choice to sour the energy that's not of that moment. You're making that conscious effort, which takes effort to changing energy in motion to keep it there in a place of worry, which then puts your body in stress, that then makes the situation far worse than it naturally in the flow should be.
Such a powerful reflection to when you enter elevated states of consciousness, you recognize and accept that we attracted this. There's a level of us somewhere that attracted this experience. And we're incredibly intuitive. And even for us, somehow this experience, and I'm going to use these words very carefully, had to unfold. They were required of us. Otherwise, we would have received notification each step before, because we had 6 weeks from booking this before we traveled. So we're very aware that we called this experience in. And yes, in the moment, it can be a little bit of like, shit, here's the fan, and we're like, oh my gosh, there's a bit of panic. And it's like, actually, what is it here to show us? What is it here to teach us? Why have I attracted this in? So when we dove into those moments and had a look at like, okay, and or actually took a step back as the observer and just went, well, what is it here to show us? We got to unpack all of that and the beauty that they're in. And also, because it's a dark night, so it's find the completion of that. So it doesn't have to be this long, drawn out thing of like, days, weeks, months of torment, torture unfolding. It can be that beautiful, slow, or actually for us it's quite fast. Like, this is what it's here to show us, guide us, teach us. That's beautiful. How liberating that's going to give us a sense of liberation, freedom, and flexibility from there. So thank you for it. And at the same time, we're showing up to do the work, to do the human level stuff that is required, and then keep our consciousness and our awareness in an elevated state so that we're not then attracting more chaos or staying in the fear mode.
Yeah, like you said, through the process, you're going, okay, what's next? What you're constantly tuning in rather than staying in that stuck emotion of worry and fear and complaining about the system and everything like that. I mean, the harshest thing I ever said was they didn't tell anybody. This rule came in 2018 and they didn't tell anybody. It's not like, so, no doubt they've got all the details of all the permanent residents. They could have easily sent an email out saying, look, rules are about to change, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, that's by the by.
And we're also taking responsibility that we didn't go in and check.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know about it until literally the day of travel. And by no way means is this any kind of complaint or bitching or just us doing a podcast just to bitch. And this is showing people that when the shit is the fan, and this was a truly shit is the fan because I'm currently in a different country from my whole life. And it's not like I've only been in Australia for a couple of years and that it's easy to go back to England where my passport is. You know, that's my home country. I haven't been there in 16 years. So my whole life, my family, my friends, my business, all of my belongings, it's all Australia based. So, I'm just, for all intents and purposes, I am an Australian, just not on paper as a citizen. So when you're stranded away from those things, that is a really powerful, energetic place to be in, because you're not in a Western world country either. As much as there's a lot of Western things here, it's not exactly a third world horrible country to be either. You know, there's a hell of a lot worse places. I could be stranded outside of Australia. This is a common holiday destination for Australians because it's just a short flight, really, in the grand scheme of things. So how do you then approach that energetically, spiritually, emotionally, even physically? What actions can you take above, you know, the physical actions, fill the application, contact as many people as I know to contact to speed up the process. But outside of that, then there's nothing you can do. Once you get, and this is the point, when you get to that place of there's nothing you can do, then what do you do? Because if you just sit there and worry and scrunch your energy down and panic, you still can't. It doesn't help the situation. So as soon as we got to that point, which was probably day 2, day 3, of, well, there's nothing else we can do now, so we've got these trips booked, let's go and enjoy ourselves. And you step out and we still manage to enjoy the holiday as if none of this was a backdrop. And that comes through practice and of knowing ourselves, knowing, well, you can ask all the people you like, you make all the phone calls you like, but it's not changing anything, then you're wasting your time and you're wasting your energy. So then you go, well, if I'm wasting my time, wasting my energy, then where do I focus my time and my energy? And it's like, well, you're on holiday in Bali, where do you think you're going to focus your time and energy? Get out and enjoy the place.
Absolutely, because worry just robs you of joy. There is no expansion in worry. There is no expansion in fear. It's a full contraction of your energy. So, you know, even when you see an animal in fear, it's like fully retracted. When you're sitting in that fear or worry state, you're retracting your energy and you are forgetting that you are a sovereign co-creator with the universe. So the universe is always going to show you the way. The universe will always have your back. So you're not here doing this alone anyway. You're consciously creating your life at every moment and every step. So it's allowing it, like remembering that moment. Say, okay, well, what's next? And then taking the inspired action. Because grinding, forcing, pushing isn't going to get you anywhere. But asking the right questions will always lead to your expanded awareness, will always lead you to the right answer. Just got to ask the right question. And that's of yourself. Not why me, why is this happening to me? Oh, woe is me. That is not expanded consciousness or awareness. That's, sitting in full victim mode.
Yeah, why is this happening for me? It's the statement. What is this teaching me? Those are the opposites of what Aida just said. Why is this happening to me? It's not why is this happening for me? What is this teaching me? And through experience of your spiritual journey, always asking those questions, the questions that you ask to help you expand and learn more about your inner self and your inner shadow and what life is here to teach you and help you grow, the ways it's going to do that. These are massively expansive experiences. And so therefore they're always positive. And yes, they are stressful at the time and in moments. Stressful and worrying in moments. So I haven't been stressed or worried for 15 days it's been going on now, like something like that. But yeah, I've had moments and I've been impatient. But the process has been, through bit by bit, the process has been slowly completing. You ring a different person, you get a different answer, different perspective of going, okay, well, that's positive. Then we see the look change, and then that's positive. So this is all about awareness and observation rather than being in the middle of the storm and choosing to be in the middle of the storm, getting fluffed all over the place with worry, stress, panic, and all of those egotistical, lower vibrational choices of emotions. So how do you get there? Well, it's just a practice, spiritual practice of when things happen that in the past you would panic about, to go, well, okay, well, I'm going to make a different choice now. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So if you're a person that always worries or always panics, and then the shit's always hitting the fan and your life's full of drama, well, that's because you're always worried, always panic. So make a different choice. Go, well, how can I be calm through this situation? How can I take control of the physical realm and stay calm within inside of myself? Therefore, when you do that, you get greater clarity. You're able to see what's really going on. And you're also able to get those soft, intuitive nudgings to go, right, this is what you need to do. And then you're able to ask the right questions. And then that will also lead to further intuitive guidance. Okay, well, should I ring this? Should I ring immigration? I'm getting a sense no, because I've already done all that. There's no new answers I'm going to get. So to do that, just waste my time, and I'm not trusting the process. I'll be perfectly honest, I'm in a little bit of anxiety today because we're just awaiting the visa now. Everything's done that they required from me, and I'm just eager to get it so I can go home.
And I would shift the word anxiousness to anticipation.
Yeah.
That's so much more joyous energy when you, and that shift of vocabulary. Words are spelled. That's why I call it spelling. So the moment you can shift a word, anxiety, anxiousness, to anticipation. It's like I referenced this to Roy this morning. It's like I placed my order to the universe. I placed my order at the restaurant, and now I'm eagerly excited to see whether my meal is going to be yummy and tasty exactly as I expected it to be. You know, am I going to get exactly what I ordered? And it's also asking from a state of that expanded awareness, and not from a space of like, oh my God, I need this, and full fear mode. And then, because again, you'll attract more of what your vibration and energy is. So when we're staying calm, we gain more clarity, we can see clearly, and we'll get those intuitive nudges that comes along the way. So now it's more this joyous anticipation, expectation of co-creating with the universe and allowing full trust and surrender with your highest level, being the co-creator rather than in that full, why is this happening to me? It's happening for me, and then it will be happening as me. We get to those levels of expanded awareness. Oh my gosh, it just is pure bliss as things flow into our level of consciousness or flow into our reality and our physical, tangible reality. Time, as we know, is a full illusion.
Absolutely, and so and we want to do this podcast to give people insights on the biggest of challenges. Yes, no doubt, some of you would have had what you would feel to be bigger challenges. Being stranded in a different country is definitely one of the biggest out there. But that's only my perception of things. You know, it's not like it's a war-torn country or anything like that. You know, just look at the background. Where we're still able to use the internet and have all the Western society facilities without any dramas. Everything that I need to facilitate this lesson of life and get through it was already there in place. And that's also my creation. So it's not like I'm lucky or anything like that. I've co-created all of those things. So the universe never gives you anything you can't handle. Even when you're at your next level of growth, which tends to take you to the limit of what you can handle, all the resources are already there. So, you know, I had a phone that I could still ring overseas with a really decent plan. I have the money to survive these next few days. So, you know, it's all those things, but we planned accordingly through insights. I mean, the irony is, a few weeks leading up to the trip, I felt that we weren't going to come back to Bali. I even spoke it out loud, but I thought there'd be enough bodies out in Bali. I thought there'd be an opportunity, we'd just end up traveling somewhere else. You know, I didn't even look at it this way because my outlook is positive. So it's like, well, if I'm not flying to Bali, the way I have handled my life now, the way I manifest my life, is a positive reason. And yes, this is a positive reason, but not in the logical way of you think a positive reason. The logical mind would see this as a negative happening. But from a spiritual perspective and a spiritual journey perspective, I'm always going, well, okay, I'm getting a sense of not going to be back. That means there's an opportunity, which means I'm going elsewhere. Yes, it was quite the case. I mean, we did go elsewhere, we're just doing a different part of Bali.
And in that, having incredible experiences here as well. So it's those little gentle nudges that lead you to it. Your intuition's always speaking, that your soul's always calling, just listening and tuning into it and uncovering what it is here to release, to get out of your way. This is helping us clear some past stuff that has obviously been deep subconscious blocks within us. So thank you for doing it in this way, where we are being incredibly supported, where we are, in a beautiful environment in the grand scheme of things, where we are feeling quite safe, supported, loved, nurtured, protected, and we have each other. It also teaches us we don't have to do this alone. A lot of people retract and think that part of their victim mode is, I've got to do this all on my own. But this is also teaching us that we're not. We have an expanded community network that we can connect with. All we got to do is reach out and ask. We've had each other through this whole journey. And along the way, it's like, well, is there anyone else who could potentially help me along the way? For us, it was, government departments and talking to other people. But it's still important to reach out, because even if you reach out to a friend or a colleague or a mentor or a guide or someone to go, it's also demonstrating to the universe that you are open to receiving it.
Yeah, exactly. What I was talking about the support. Because often with hindsight, we look back and go, oh, well, actually, that was a positive experience. But that hindsight is often months later when we've got over the worry, the stress, and we've dramaed the hell out of it with our friends for months, talking about what happened when we was away on holiday, holiday to hell, and all of those statements. Whereas when you're more aware and you're more centered and calmer and more calm, you do see the karmic lessons coming around again. I mean, for me, this was one that's really replaying itself from 2008. So Aida, I think it was 1999, 2000. So it was even longer that was a repeated. And we could clearly see the repeated links, but those were really challenging experiences that was a really powerful time on soul that probably led us deep into our spiritual journey. Whereas this, because we're already deep into our spiritual journey, we don't need that level of awakening. We're just clearing deep stuff now, and we can see the direct links. So that's the beautiful thing. When you're more aware and more in touch with your inner self, you can see the hindsight really quickly. So even in the middle of it, you can start going, yes, this is a positive experience. I can see why this is a positive experience. I can see this is helping me clear all stuff from my previous marriage and all that stuff. And but it also shows me that I'm replacing it with something better, which then manifests a different world, that manifests a different future and a more positive outlook for my life. So that can only be a positive thing. And to be shown that while away in this tropical location of Bali, I mean, someone said, look, you can't do it in Australia, where would you like to do it? Here's a list of locations. Bali probably would have got picked at some point. So when you see it that way, that's got to be future hindsight going, well, if things have been different, I've been given the choice to do this outside of Australia, I probably would have done it here. And that's the beautiful way to then look at it, rather than going, oh, why should I have to make that choice? You shouldn't have to make that Australia. All those things that I know some of you watching would have said and been through. And I've been through those thoughts and processes too, and I've transmuted them. And now life is a lot more positive, even though it's really, 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 really challenging. And that word challenging that we spoke about right at the beginning of this podcast is, I've personally, it's one of my favourite words. I don't use the word hard anymore, unless I'm talking about dense things, like wooden tables or concrete. That's hard. But things in life, they're challenging because as a human, we shrink away from things that are hard, and our energy shrinks. But challenging, we rise to it and we grow and we go, yeah, well, I can do that. It's a challenge. Yeah, I'll give it a go. That tends to be our general consensus to a challenge. I'll give it a go. And that's worst case scenario.
We just got, I don't know if that actually got caught. The butterfly just literally came in as you were saying, switching that change from struggle or hard to challenge, because we expand into a challenge. If you're doing a running race, it's a challenge, or if you're learning to walk, crawl, or run, like the challenges in life, and embracing them and asking yourself, what is this here to show me? So a lot of us at some stage, there was a time where I did this too, where we would go, Why me? Why did this happen? And we would go back and unpack that. And then we'd go, and then every time you relate the story, we're actually stuck in a victim mode, right? We go back and go, and then we share it with all of our friends or anyone who would listen. And it's like, what is that actually doing? It's reliving. We're copy, paste, delete, or copy and pasting that same thing each time. And then we'll see more evidence of it showing up in other areas of our life. But when you see it, you go, okay, well, that's a programming that I've now can, I can clear and delete rather than copy and paste it to the next one. I don't need to relive this anymore. I don't have to teach. Well, obviously for us, we were able to teach it, so it's an obviously we can tell the story in a very positive aspect, but we're not sharing it in a very negative aspect. That can be what a lot of people might be sharing. That we're now cancelling, clearing, deleting this story, this program of where this has come from, and then we're now creating a new story. We're creating a new paradigm. We're creating that new next level shift for us. So this is the joy of expanded growth. Why wouldn't we lean into that?
Exactly. And we wanted to do this podcast while we're technically still in the middle of all this.
Yeah.
We're not out of the storm yet because I don't have the resident return visa in my hand yet. Well,
I know it's here.
on email, but we know it's coming. We've tuned in enough to know we've seen all the signs, and we've spoken with our spirit team and our inner selves, and tuned in with each other, and even reached out to a friend that could give a bit of guidance too. And it only ever spoke positively, saying, yeah, look, the visa's there. It's just a timing thing now. So this is teaching me patience as usual. Spirit always teaches me patience. But however, it was a challenge to talk about this on the podcast because I've already talked it today. I felt like I don't need to discuss this anymore. There's no more discussions to be done. It's already everything that can be spoken about is spoken about, but to give you insights to help you in any situation where the dark night soul comes in at a really powerful level, that hopefully this gives you enough insights for momentum that you can go, well, I watched that podcast, my life's proverbially shit at the fan, but it's not going to be shit at the fan. It's going to be butterflies flying to me for a challenge, and I know I'm going to get through this with ease, flow, and grace. Yes, I know there's going to be the odd moment here and there where I'm going to panic or I'm going to stress or where I'm going to worry, but I'm still going to sleep. I slept fine every night throughout this holiday. My body was not stressed. All of those things that I've actively chosen, all of that emotion and energy I've actually chosen to be in. So in other words, I've not allowed those negative emotions to run the show. I've done a lot of inner work to keep the positive emotions the ones usually running the show. So that's the protocol that I kept going on with. And that's the one that remained even after I get back home to Australia, which will be tomorrow. That's what we're manifesting. That's what we feel.
What we're accepting.
That's what we're accepting. And even if worst case scenario, it's not tomorrow, it's the next day or the day after that, we'll deal with that with ease, flow, and grace, and we'll still tune in to go, okay, we was pointed at all signs was tomorrow, and then that wasn't the case, so why are we being guided bit by bit? In other words, the point being is we just ask the next set of questions, but we won't ask them until if and when that ever happens. If it doesn't, then the question is, right, who do we get the flights through? So then it just becomes a logistical thing. Then the lesson is over, the test is over, and then we go home, and then we can unpack it even more, because we'll get more insights once we arrive back home and go, okay, we missed that bit, missed this bit. And then you're unpacking from a positive perspective. So you're unpacking a lesson to grow more. It's just like opening your maths book at school, really. When you've gone to a page you've never been to before. Oh, okay, I can learn a bit more algebra. Oh, that's fantastic. Because this is straightforward, like plus, minus, division and subtraction and all that kind of thing. So this is definitely an algebraic formula in the context of an analogy.
In the what happens though, in the grand scheme of things, is that we often see these things as obstacles, and when we come from that fear moment, it feels insurmountable. Oh my! And then we're like, oh my God, what is this? So if we can break it down into little steps, What's in front of me here and now, and what's something that I can do? Because we know everything's achievable. We know we're going to get back into Australia. I fully trust that. I fully know that. I know that. So it's like, well, what's here now? What's the one thing that I can do now? And then what's the next thing? Rather than looking at it as a big whole. Of course, we want to have the big picture still in front of us. It's always important to have that greater intention. But even that, big goal, so to speak, will have all these little milestones, all these little steps that will guide us there. And they always feel good. We can take one step, complete, achieve, yay, great, little celebration, gives you more forward momentum. And taking each step at each time, so asking yourself, what's here now? Establishing some equilibrium in your nervous system is paramount. Finding a sense of calm, catching your breath is paramount in those moments where shit hits the fan. And then, what's here now? What's the one thing that I can do now? Breaking it down into multiple steps that will lead into your greater goal. So taking bite-sized chunks of your pizza, you can't stick the whole thing into your mouth, right? No matter how hungry you are or how desiring you are too. Take one bite at a time, one step at a time. Get to the ladder one step at a time. So it's the same as asking those questions of yourself during these moments.
Yeah, and rather seeing it as an obstacle, see it as a tunnel. Yeah, it might be dark, you might not be able to see it, but you can keep on level ground, you can keep walking through it. You trust in your intuition to walk through that dark tunnel, but then you see the light and know it's not like it's Roadrunner and it's not that light, it's an oncoming train. That's not the way it works. It's the light at the end of the tunnel, and then you get out the other side, and then you feel amazing for having gone through that experience. So that's pretty much what the challenge has been and what we've been sharing with you. And yeah, this will get uploaded and followers. And if you'd like to reach out, because you've had your own challenges and you don't quite know how to do your mindset, your mind shift, and all of those things, you can reach out to us at www.rawascension.earth. And then that, if you want to reach out to us individually, you can do that via that website. So there's all these amazing ways to reach out, because we'd love to support you and teach you all of these methods and all of those things that in the future, no matter how big the dark night of the soul becomes, it only ever feels like that. Because, as Aida said, it's just one foot in front of the other. 1,000-mile journey, or it starts with the first step. And then, if you really angle and count, at least you only have to count to 1,000 before you get to wherever it is that your destination of 1,000 steps was taking you to. This has only been maybe 20, 30 steps. And some extra I've created by ringing people that I probably didn't need to ring. That was my own peace of mind. As well, it's also about following your own peace of mind at times, but keeping that monkey mind and that panic mind at bay as well. And this is what partners and friends and family can help you with. If you've got that kind of relation with them, they can help support you and give you ideas. And accepting that help makes that journey much, much easier. And then you realise how valuable these people are. So that's something else I've learned through this process of how and what amazing support that Aida is for me, and which is a beautiful thing to experience in the middle of this. That I've now got the support where the previous version of this there wasn't. So it just shows that how much I've shifted. That now going through this, it's still, I've got better support that will stick around, that doesn't see it as drama and all this stuff, that just goes, yeah, look, we'll get through it together. Stronger together, which is the Ra Ascension sort of motto, stronger together. So calling friends, family, for anything, no matter how big or small, and make yourselves stronger together. And so, yeah, I don't feel I've got anything left to say for this podcast. If anybody's got anything to add to that.
Embracing what's here now, because there is only now. So coming to that space of calmness, conscious awareness, and again, like Roy said, that those steps do take implementation, and that's what we're here to. Yeah. We're here to guide you to implement those steps and so that you can feel that expanded consciousness, whatever that is for you, so you can enjoy life at ease, flow, and grace, no matter what it throws at you or whatever you are creating, and then how to create or co-create with the universe, one that is one of love, peace, and abundance. So that's what we're here to do, and we look forward to doing that more with you.
Yeah, self-mastery guides. So thank you for watching.
Thank you.
See you again soon.
Much love.
Take care.